All right, I've got 8:30, so I'm going to call the September 30th meeting of the Law and Government Liquor Committee to order. Can I get a roll call?
Van Hoff.
Present.
Sullivan.
Here.
Kunkel.
Here.
Sauger. Campbell. Here. Altoff. Shorten.
Here. Okay, minutes approval for the meeting from August 26th. I need a motion and a second. Got a motion from Mr. Kunkel and a second from Mr. Sullivan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Public comment.
We have none. Last call.
New business. We don't have any liquor license requests. Legislative update.
All right. Good morning. Lucia Schuler, Director of Public Affairs, McHenry County. And we are coming up on veto session, which will begin on October 14th, run through the 16th, and then restart again from October 28th to October 30th. Some things to keep in mind: transit. Since we last met, SEPTA, which is the Philadelphia area's RTA, actually went over their fiscal cliff. And interestingly enough, there were 2 weeks of reduced service. They cut 20%, and again, it was during time where there's big football games and the whole 9 yards. Eventually, the impasse ended when the governor transferred $400 million to be able to fund and postpone that fiscal cliff for another 2 years. So again, just something to keep in mind as we keep an eye on our current transit system right now and the fiscal cliff that the state of Illinois is facing. So anyhow, just thought I'd put that on your radar. Also right now, the General Assembly seems to be in negotiations regarding an energy bill. An omnibus energy bill. And there are a couple different pieces of legislation right now that are hoping to reform some energy needs across the state, but for our purposes, one of the interesting provisions has to do with energy storage. So it touches on a lot of the same provisions that we as the county have taken a position against regarding solar and wind farms. But interestingly enough, this omnibus legislation seems to give us a little bit of the items that the Solar and Wind Task Force had been asking for through ISACO. For example, asking for drainage plans to be filed with the county, asking for decommissioning plans and increased monies put aside for that, for decommissioning, as for farmland remediation as well. So it's interesting to see that is in regards to zoning issues regarding to energy storage systems, but not toward the solar and wind farms. So we have been in contact, and when I say we, I mean myself and Chair Altoff have been in contact with the Illinois State Association of Counties Executive Director Joe McCoy, and he provided us with a very helpful summary on all that is the bill in question, House Bill 4116. It is linked on the electronic version of this. If you ever want to take a peek and get all the details on the energy omnibus, it's there. And she did put a request through asking that, in accordance with different comments made by the county board, that if we are going to be amending, energy legislation, make it so county boards don't have to vote on solar zoning issues, because again, local control has been taken away and it might as well just be administrative. And I understand that has been a comment that's been made over and over again by this board. So anyhow, that's just where we are with that. Do you have any questions on energy? But again, we have no idea whether comments made through ISACO will be adopted in this legislation. They have bigger fish to fry over in Springfield because there is a bit of, I won't say dissatisfaction, but a bit of back and forth with labor interests and also some privacy concerns that go along with data centers that are being touched on in this bill. Because again, massive energy amounts are needed to create the data centers that are going to be needed to fuel our new technologies. That's that one. As you know, the federal government is most likely headed toward shutdown in the coming days. To that piece there, we are most likely not going to get our community project funding that we have requested for our sheriff's office, the $1.2 million that had been approved by House Appropriations Committee, or one of the House committees, I should say. So again, we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully they can come to resolution, but if they do, it's most likely going to be a continuing resolution, which wouldn't include that either. So keeping an eye on where the feds go with their budget and hoping for the best. Workforce network funding. That's another issue that's going on right now with the feds. They are trying to discern how they want to fund workforce initiatives going forward. There is one bill that is going on right now in the House that would cut youth and adult programming funding for our workforce network, but would provide funding for the dislocated workers. That same legislation does not appear in its corresponding Senate bill. So again, we're keeping an eye on the legislation to see what happens in regards to that funding. So that's that. FEMA. You guys are in for a treat at the next meeting. There is a new piece of legislation that is coming through. It actually passed House committee, bipartisan actually, which is pretty rare nowadays. And it is to reform FEMA. Now, it's going to make it so that FEMA is more of a grant-based agency instead of reimbursement-based. That's the high level, and it's a bit more advantageous for counties. But again, David Christensen is our subject matter expert, and he will be giving a full presentation on that in our next law and government meeting. So if you have any questions, he's your man.
I have a quick question. Looking at this, does this look like something that will advance and evolve our EMA here for the county? Something we critically need, and our EMA is so far behind. We really need to enhance our EMA in this county. Does it look like that's going to happen, or would it look like they're going to pull away from us with this?
Well, Dave, you're probably the one who could speak to it more than I can, but it sounds like there's a lot more emphasis on local government and county, so I would say it probably would be stronger for us. But I know that Pam wanted to hear your full presentation.
Yeah, and not to put you on the spot, just a little preface.
So I have a statement on that. And here's my bottom line on the VMAC. It presents a significant opportunity for McHenry County to accelerate our EOC upgrades, resilience projects, and our survivor support. Success will depend on proactive planning, strong state advocacy, and ensuring match funding is available. McHenry County EMA is positioned to serve as a statewide model of adapting only with the FEMA Act. So I was prepared to give it today, and it seems they want to move it on. What I'm really worried about is it's going to be presented to Congress before you meet again. So I did prepare a briefing. You can take it, read it, call me, please, with any questions. There are some negative aspects to it, but most of it strongly favors local emergency management in our residents. It presents a challenge to us because it puts more burden on the state. Our state is not prepared to handle that, and we, especially the collar counties, will need to support and need to push it forward. But I'll leave this with you, and I'll present on it next month. I'm afraid that it'll have been to Congress by next month. So if you have a legislator you love out there in Congress, I would definitely give them a call, and I'll leave this for all of you.
All right, well, it's just my fervent hope that this is going to help us evolve, enhance our EMA for McHenry County, something that we absolutely critically need and we've fallen behind on.
Well, and I do believe, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong on this, that the EMA professional agencies have also come out and support and actually put forward a lot of the contents of this bill, right?
NEMA, the National Emergency Managers Association, IAEM, International Association of Emergency Managers, NACO, and there's one with ISACO have all endorsed the FEMA Act.
There you go.
Fantastic, thank you.
All right. Oops, sorry. I knew I was holding too many.
I'm invisible.
No, not that. I didn't make it all the way around the table. I'm so sorry. And I'll forward a copy to Pam.
Finally, I was instructed to put out an email to our department heads and constitutional offices to start monitoring their professional organizations for potential content to include in the legislative program. This is stuff that would directly impact the county and is already supported by their professional organizations and being championed by them to be put forward to this committee for possible consideration for the next legislative program. That's the last I have on legislative update. If there's anything else that you've heard about, want me to keep an eye on, feel free to let me know. Thank you.
I just realized that I skipped over member comments. Are there any member comments?
It's too late now.
All right. The moment's passed. Okay, routine consent agenda. Are there any items on the routine consent agenda that anybody would like to pull?
7.2.
7.2. Any others?
I was just going to suggest, we have so few and all of them involve money. Could we just do a quick rotate through?
I would agree with that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So we're going to pull everything? Okay. All right, so 7.1, a resolution supporting the award and implementation of a countywide next generation 911 system.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Randy Sinatino. I'm the Assistant Director with McHenry County ETSB.
And I'm Tiki Schulte, the Director for McHenry County ETSB.
So in 2019, we implemented a new 911 system. It is approximately 5 years old, and now we have to do a hardware refresh. So looking at the dollar amount it was going to cost for a hardware refresh, well, we decided to release an RFP in June, where we received 6 responses. We worked with ETSB staff members, the emergency communication managers, and public safety telecommunicators to review the submissions. And after review, we selected a demo, or we selected a vendor, rather. And that vendor is Intrado. So the amount in the resolution that we were looking for is not to exceed $1,675,000.
I'll go first. So this amount was this is for the current fiscal year,
We have the money in our
Yes.
and it was in the
Yes.
budget? Okay. That's all I have.
Yeah, and the fees are just within, you get the money and then that's handled through that fund where you collect the fees for service.
Yeah, for
It's
the
all covered by the
surcharge,
service
that's,
charge. Right,
that's
yeah.
correct, the surcharge, yes.
Okay, all right. And do you anticipate this is something that's done like every 5 years, or do you see how?
Yeah, so we're not anticipating doing it every 5 years,
Okay.
but we had an opportunity with our current hardware needing a refresh to see what's out there. And actually, the new 911 system gives us additional functionality that we don't have today, such as enhanced reporting features
Okay.
and text to 911 translation. So it'll automatically detect the language and translate it. So two-way translation.
It's far different than it was 15, 20, 30, even 30 years ago when we were able to keep a 911 system because it was very hardware based. You know, cards in a box on a wall, very static, very strong, very resilient, if you will. And with everything with the technology changes, pieces and parts are deemed obsolete, 2 years after they've been installed. So in order to keep up with technology, with hardware, with advancements, this is kind of the way things are going today. Same as we've seen with our PC rollouts and whatnot with our county, so.
This is the same thing that you presented to us during your budget, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sounds great.
All right, I think I'm out of order. I need a motion in a second. Move. Second, Mr. Kunkel. Any other discussion items on this? No? Roll call?
Sullivan.
Yes.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Kunkel.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes. Okay, moving on. 7.2, resolution authorizing an agreement with Wellpath to provide healthcare for the correctional facility for 2 base years between 12/1/2025 through 11/30/2027, and 2 additional option years, 12/1/2027 to 2/11/2029, I need a motion and a second. So I'll just hand first, so Ms. Campbell makes a motion, Mr. Kunkel seconds.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you have a question or you want me to just
I have
kind
a
of dive
question.
into this?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I pulled it, because we were talking about a whole
Yes.
lot of stuff beforehand.
Yes,
And obviously you've had time to do all your due diligence.
correct?
And you've pulled it all the way back here and you're comfortable with this.
Yes. So, as Mr. Kunkel is referring to, the inmate healthcare contract is the largest contract we have in the jail for expenses. This current year, it is contracted at 2.4 million, but it's about 2.6 if you look at the off-site costs that go beyond the cap and pharmaceutical costs that go beyond the cap. So coming into this year, the sheriff wanted to look at some alternate ideas for inmate healthcare. Traditionally, everywhere, people go out to bid and have a vendor. And we thought, well, we don't like being tied into that. So we hired a consultant, and this individual had worked with another county to create their own medical department to provide inmate healthcare. So she did a study for us and also put together some bidding documents so that we could go out to RFP and really line it up so we could look at everything across the board. In the meantime, County Administrator Peter Austin had reached out to our local healthcare networks, Northwestern and Mercy. We were disappointed that Northwestern wasn't interested in inmate healthcare, but Mercy was. And they came in and they participated in all the RFP. Yeah, sorry, I'm not looking at you. You're like off in the corner. I gotta turn all the way. Yeah. They came and they did the tours and they had lots of questions. And when it came time to bid, we had 5 RFP responses, which is more than we've had since I've been here in 2014. So this was really exciting. We still had on the side, should we create our own medical division and provide services? We were getting costs for that, and we kind of put that to the side because it was a little bit more, and there's a little bit of questions still about what the liability would look like internally. Because right now the vendors indemnify us when it's a medical thing. So anyway, from the 5 vendors, we picked 2 to come back for interviews, and that was Wellpath and Mercy. And they were really healthy, robust interviews. And at the end of the day, it was pretty close to being equal. Mercy does not provide dental. So if we went with Mercy, we would have to do another RFP and seek out dental. And we went out and looked a little bit, and the health department helped us with that. Mercy, this being so new for them, this is really outside the box. It's within their vision, but really outside the box for them. They still had some concerns about the liability. The off-site services was a big issue because if we had our inmates go off-site, they wanted it at Mercy hospitals. We had some concern about that because in cases of emergencies, and depending on the level of that emergency, Northwestern really is the best place for, best and fastest place for those inmates to go. So we had a lot of conversations about that. And right now, Mercy's, the main hospital's in Janesville. They have one out by Rockford. They do have lower levels in Crystal Lake and Woodstock and McHenry. But that caused some concern too. Speaking with Wellpath, and I know this is a lot of information, but our current contract has a cap of $2,000 for off-site services. That means that the first $2,000 is paid by the vendor, and anything over that gets billed back to the sheriff's office. That was really not an issue many years ago. In fact, it was something that we put in place to help us save money on the bottom line of the contract. But things have changed, and there's a lot of decisions that, right or wrong, that they don't want to make the healthcare providers in the jail because of what if that's not the right decision. So there's been a lot of off-site services. Some of them are legit. We had an individual broke his arm from arm wrestling, and that cost a lot. But a lot of them we felt could be handled more inside. So speaking to Mercy, we negotiated no cap on off-site visits. So they're going to pay for all of that with the exception of some long-term care that's gonna be put in the contract. They had a cap on pharmaceuticals for non-county inmates. Big issue for us. We have the Lake County contract, we have the Navy contract, we have Kane County, we have DHS now, even though a lot of their mental health is provided through thresholds. But anyway, we had like a 2-hour powwow with command staff, and we felt that going into a contract with a definite expense each year, one that we can control, is the best bet. Mercy only bid 1 year because to them it's like, we'll try it, but if it doesn't work, you know, we may not move forward. And then that really puts us in a pickle, right? Then we're at the mercy of the other RFP providers. Mid-year, last year, Wellpath tried to raise our costs $800,000. If obviously we pushed back and got all the departments involved purchasing, you know, saying, no, you're under a contract. But that would have cost us more than this first year. And I feel that they really fought hard for our business. So it's 2 base years. We've talked to Mercy. Mercy, I feel, you know, is comfortable with this decision and wants to stay in touch with us so that they can learn more about what jail inmate healthcare looks like, and in the future that is probably a real possibility. So we're excited about it.
Good.
So ostensibly, going through the RFP process, you end up back with Wellpath, who's the current
Yes.
vendor. You offset or stopped what would have been an increase of $800,000.
Yes, so since COVID, like with most vendors here in the county, they had their own pressure points and came back to the county and wanted to increase costs. And especially in healthcare, they were having a lot of issues maintaining staff. We had increased by like $350,000 because they had some issues, and we said, okay, we understand with nursing, and you know, we know our Valley High and other areas, places here in the county were having those issues. But when they came back with the $800,000, it was, that's your problem, not ours now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're in a contract, and we're going to hold you to it because we have other pressure points as well.
And what I heard is that this contract is less than that.
If we would have accepted that,
Yeah.
it would have been over 3.2 million. So we're coming in now,
Yeah.
2 years later at 3.1. And it's very modest increases over the next 4 years.
And I think when it comes to looking at a broader line on costs, anything that you can do to tamp down an increase offsets what future increases might come. So thank you for that. Mr. Kunkel.
And we have an enhanced contract, better than we had before.
It's better.
Yeah, and we have a known entity. We've worked with them. So I think this is good all the way around. But I do like the fact of having that leverage factor with Mercy and the others, because we would not have been here today had you guys not, and the sheriff not aggressively attacked this problem.
Yeah,
So thank you.
it's kudos to the sheriff.
Yeah.
He's, as you guys, you know him, he's constantly looking outside.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to, I think it's been great. I mean, the fact that you guys really look at every opportunity or option, or whether it's in-house or out, and by making it a competitive process, we come in with a much better
Right.
price point, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Pat, Lori, anything?
Thank you. Great job.
All right. Maybe nothing else. Roll call vote.
Campbell.
Yes.
Kunkel.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, 7.3, Circuit Clerk Resolution Authorizing Emergency Appropriation from Circuit Clerk Court Document Storage Fund balance for digital preservation of historical court records, books, and microfilm, plus development of online archive site.
Good morning.
Kathy.
So this is kind of a long-term we've been using our document storage funds to try to reduce the amount of storage that we have out at archives. Eventually we hope to almost get to the point where we have almost nothing. There are certain things that the Supreme Court does not allow us to destroy. So some of these historical records can never be destroyed. The immigration and naturalization records are one of them. But a lot of them are, they're delicate, the real old stuff, the stuff from the 1800s is delicate. We can definitely destroy the 1800 stuff once we would get it microfilmed and scanned. So in the spring, we came across, there's a few other counties using this vendor who specializes in these historical records. Rather than scanning them, they have like a photographing process, so these big books, they kind of flatten them out. They don't rip the books apart, which we have had some old index books scanned years and years ago, and they actually tore the books apart and scanned them, which makes them usable. It's the ones that we use a lot that index to the old case files. But this company is a little more historical record friendly. So they've done Will County, Richland County, a few other counties. The biggest thing the genealogists like to search are the immigration and the naturalization records. So those would be included, and then we also have a lot of old probate records. Part of this project comes from some old microfilm that was done by the Mormons here I came in '87, and we've had this Mormon microfilm kicking around since the early '80s, I think. I'm not sure exactly when it was done, but the Mormons came on site and microfilmed a lot of the old probate records from the 1800s into like about early 1900s. I guess they still do that around the country because the company that we're dealing with said that they still see the Mormons out in archives buildings, scanning these old ones, which they use to build up their big archaeology or genealogy site that they maintain. So that is kind of our goal is twofold: to be able to destroy some of these records and be able to get rid of and make some space in the archives facility, but then also to make the items that have particular interest to people who are researching, which a lot of that is genealogy research, to be able to make that available on our website so that people can search that. They're difficult records to search. So for our staff, you can request if you can pinpoint it enough so that we know we have it out in archives, and then we can bring these big books in. And they're definitely difficult to search, no question. But so kind of a twofold project. We're looking to destroy some of this old stuff, which we'll be able to once we get that, get it scanned and microfilmed, but also then to make it available. So some that does have historical value we can put out there for the public.
So I know all of this is covered by your
Court document storage fees.
Right, so, and I get that. But in here, in the detail, it says going forward, there would be an annual cost of $15,000. Is that, like, I guess I kind of think about the microfiche, once it gets onto a system, it's there for you, so, but this is for maintaining it?
The company itself, they would maintain this website, so we would just be linking to them from our website. So they maintain the site with the information that'll have all of this historical stuff on it. So that is the cost going forward. There would be potential that we could maybe create our own, site down the road. We have done that. For example, we did that. We started the monitors that you see over in the courthouse that display the court calls and at each courtroom display all that. We started with a vendor who did that for us initially. Down the road, once we were able to program it ourselves, we dropped our contract with them, and now we maintain. Those monitors don't have any support cost because our IT people wrote a program that runs it ourselves, which might be something we could do going forward. Once we got a handle on the records that were being displayed.
So it's just the website that actually accesses the data is ours, right?
Right,
So
yes,
there's no,
exactly.
so like you said,
This is all pretty much documents.
Yeah.
So it's generally all, the searching of documents. But yeah, the documents are definitely ours, and going forward, we would maybe end up, doing something ourselves.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Yeah, I had a question. I was looking for a record from the 1800s from Marengo, and I was able to find it by coming here. Are you able, is that information all online?
We have a few of our index books online, and if you go into our viewing rooms, we have a few of the index books scanned, which helps you hunt some of the records down. But the 400 some books that we're having scanned in this project, none of those have been scanned previously. So there's a lot of information in these books that has been hard to come by. You know, you almost had to know it existed, because once we saw some of it, it's like, wow, you know, what are some of these books? Because literally they've been, you know, out in archives for years.
Or is the public able to look through those books? Or
Yeah, so this will make it, you know, much easier to be able to sit down and, you know, dig through and find information that, you know, people are looking for, that we don't really even know exists out there at this point, because, you know, they've basically just been books that have never been scanned, and we really don't know a lot about some of the books.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few of them. Interesting, the Supreme Court doesn't allow certain, like wills can never be destroyed, which makes sense. We've got a lot of wills back into the 1800s. For some reason, mental health records, they called it feeble-minded, insanity type records. They don't let those indexes be destroyed. But there still will be a number of things we'll be able to destroy once we get them scanned. And it will make them much more accessible to the public for sure.
Thank you.
So just so we're clear and restating it, the funding for this is coming out of the county or circuit clerk document storage fund balance.
Right, and that's a fee that's charged on almost every case, basically, civil and criminal. So those fees and are specifically for document storage.
Okay, but it hits the budget, but we have an offset from past revenue, I guess.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Did I do a motion in a second? Oh, gosh. Can I have a motion in a second?
I think he's first.
Matt's got the motion this time. Carolyn's going to second it. Thank you for that. I need a shot caller. Roll call.
Kunkel.
Yes?
Campbell.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 7.4, resolution for utilizing Fund 377 to cover the expense of case management enhancements for AOIC mandated data collection. Can I have a motion and a second? So a motion and a second. Discussion.
Was who?
I'm sorry?
Motion and second was who?
Matt and Pat.
Matt?
Matt and Pat.
Thank you.
Good morning.
You have the
How
floor.
are you? AOIC is Administrative Office of Illinois Courts. So yes, we are looking to utilize our probation service fee fund balance for this. It is to enhance the case management system so that we can collect data that the AOIC is looking for us to collect and report to them. That's been a large project that's been ongoing for a couple of years. We're very hopeful that this will kind of finalize our efforts in that respect. We are also looking to finalize the work that we put into integration with our drug testing vendor and their website, which is the next resolution, but I know we're not on that one just yet. We're on 7.4. But again, we have the funds actually already under a PO in this year's budget, so we would release that PO and the funds would be available. I mean, in totality, that's about it on this case management system. It's been, like I said, a long time coming, both with the integration piece with the drug testing vendor and the AOIC data collection. But what questions can I answer for you guys, if any?
I'm good on this one.
I'm good on it. These are coming again from a revenue source that's already in there.
Correct.
So, right, so that is fine.
It's budgeted.
Yeah, it's already budgeted. And I was aware of that. It's just that we just pulling all, maybe then. So I appreciate the update in terms of what the purpose for it and the need for it. So
Thank you.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's it. Roll call, please.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Kunkel.
Yes?
Sullivan.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes. And item 7.5, 8.5, resolution authorizing a contract with CorrectiveSolutions for on-site drug testing services for the Department of Probation and Court Services. Can I have a motion and a second? I got a motion over here, I got it from Ms. Campbell, a second from Mr. Kunkel.
All right, so CorrectiveSolutions is the vendor we've been working with since 2022, I do believe. It's been a great change for us. Historically, we used to just buy the supplies and the officers would do all the drug testing themselves. That was kind of a misuse of officer time. I have college-educated folks who were spending a whole bunch of time watching people go to the bathroom. And so with the vendor, they do all the labor of drug testing. They get us, in contracting with them, they gave us a much better option for the cup. So a much more thorough and robust testing regime, I guess. They are compliant with what are known as the All-Rise standards. All-Rise is a national entity that promulgates the standards for the problem-solving courts, and specifically around drug testing, and CorrectiveSolutions is compliant and right at the forefront of the standards with All-Rise. It is a large contract. We did budget for it in 2026. Our current contract with them expires on November 30th this year. These amounts that you see in there are in our 2026 budget. In talking with Adam Latendra, we did not go through RFP on this because of the integration that we're working on the other side of it, and because of that vertical integration and all the work that's gone into that, and the relationship that's formed with CorrectiveSolutions over the last 3 years. He didn't feel it was necessary to go out for RFP. And so we're asking for the majority of it to be probation service fee fund, again, $215,000 of it. I don't know that it'll be that much. And then there's a small amount of general fund dollars in there that would cover if we did go over, but it doesn't look like we will. I've spoken to you guys fairly recently about our intention to have the Office of Statewide Pretrial Services take over pretrial. That's going to come in the first part of fiscal 2026. As that goes over to the Office of Statewide Pretrial Services, we stop doing drug testing for all those pretrial folks, which means less cost for us in total with this contract. So we've probably padded that budget a little bit just to be safe, but this is a contract for 2 years with 2 option years. We're very happy with CorrectiveSolutions, and so we wanted to move forward. Any questions from the group? Yes?
So yeah, that's kind of why I was pulling it a little bit to see how it hit the general fund, so I appreciate you touching on that specifically. And then I do remember, was it 3 years ago when we made the decision to move over and have the drug testing done by another company?
Correct.
Do you, in terms of the drug testing, is it, so that pretrial part of it will come off, that would probably be a huge part of it.
It'll be a part of it.
Do you anticipate how much that, because I know you do it also for other things like specialty courts as a part of that, and is that considered, that's not necessarily considered pre-trial because that's going through that specialty court system.
Correct.
And so
I think
it's
actually
probably hard to anticipate, but I'm wondering.
Actually, in the resolution, I believe it notes that pre-trial is about 5.6% of all the testing that we do.
Okay.
In fact, problem solving is the largest portion of it because of those all-rise standards and just general best practices.
There we are. You're right.
We test problem solving court folks at least twice a week. And we do with CorrectiveSolutions and in a partnership with the Woodstock Police Department, we have the Woodstock Police Department available to us on the weekends, and CorrectiveSolution does testing there for largely our problem-solving court folks, completely randomized. That's the best part about CorrectiveSolutions is before we had them, people in problem-solving court had colors. There were maybe, let's just as an example, 20 people purple, 20 people red, 20 people blue. And once the first person called in and said, oh, it's just a red day, everybody in the red group knew that it was a red testing day. And then they would drink a bunch of water or get ready to bring in some adulterated sample in some way. With CorrectiveSolutions and the randomization, it is, every client is unique. They could be called to test 2 days in a row, or on a Monday and a Sunday, with 6 days in between. And they have no idea, and it changes every week. So it truly keeps them on their toes, which is the best practice. And in the long run, and what's most important is it helps people to have that accountability to stay sober, which is what we're aiming at. So, good question though. Thank you.
Well, one last thing. And then the location is here and then Woodstock when we're.
Correct. They work right out of our office Monday through Friday, and then Woodstock Police Department on the weekends.
Okay, that's where they go. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great information. Really, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No other comments or questions? We'll go to a roll call.
Campbell.
Yes.
Sullivan. Kunkel.
Yes.
And Hoff.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Motion passes. All right, no presentations, no old business, no reports, no executive session. Just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
First, Sheila, or Gloria.
I'm trying not to compete here. Keep my hands here.
Hey, when she's.
All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed?
Aye, no, aye.